The Democratic Socialists of America are unveiling a radical new platform, if you can imagine that. They are calling to rewrite the Constitution. The plan would abolish the Senate, replace the president and Supreme Court with an executive and judiciary chosen by Congress. So then it would be really important who's running Congress. And of course, a boatload of freebies. The platform pushes a 32-hour work week. Everybody loves to work less, universal health care, and a wealth tax. Here's some of the group's leaders. They're breaking down this vision.
We could call it the head honcho of whatever, you know, like it's like we might not have a president, but what we should have is an executive that's actually chosen democratically and is accountable to the representatives of the people.
Here we say very clearly, like, abolish ICE.
We have a feminism section that is transliberatory and also socialist feminist.
I think it sounds so radical, like abolish the Senate, abolish the Supreme Court, like, et cetera, but it's not.
Okay, Larry, I want to get your reaction to some of that because it's just really, truly crazy. But what scares me is the fact that it resonates with certain people in this country. There's a movement for this. They sound nuts.
They are nuts. They are nuts. And they're going to get clocked in this election coming up.
They better.
Clocked.
They better.
Now, I don't know about New York. Okay, right. I'll leave New York. Susie Collins is going to win in Maine. This crazy guy is going to lose in Michigan. They can pick up a few dark blue city mayors, that kind of thing, but they are going to get clocked. They're giving the Republican Party a great gift, and they will take advantage of it, the GOP. Look, Trump laid it out. Trump's attack over the July 4th weekend, I think we talked about this last time, the three speeches he gave, Ralph Reed's Faith and Freedom, and then the South Dakota speech, Mount Rushmore, and then the July 4th National Mall speech. Trump did two things, both brilliant. One was the greatness of America, both past, present, and future. And the second one is how this communism that's developing is a mortal threat to the United States and must be stomped on. And it was powerful stuff, and he was laying out, he was just giving Republicans and then Democrats and independents who are more sensible their talking points for the election so we can stop this nonsense.
Right. As if the ones that I listed weren't bad enough, there's more. They want to establish statehood for Washington, D.C. That way they can pack and control that state. I'm reading the bullets and then I'm editorializing a little.
Yes.
They want to abolish the Electoral College, with many of the Democrats have been, you know, hemming and hawing about for years. So we talked about the executive and the judiciary chosen by Congress. They want to expand the House and abolish the Senate, Brian.
Yes.
They want to fundamentally change this country.
It's like if you gave a fourth grader a project. Come up with your own government, okay? This is going to be fun.
Right.
You come up with a government, and then we're going to talk about it. And the point of doing it would be to relate what they came up with to what's actually happened in America and explain why we did it the way we did it in America. And they just leave that part out. They just say, let's do a fourth grade government project, and let's make it the project for everybody. I bet everybody in that video you showed was college educated. I bet $1 to a donut hole, and I bet that none of them have ever read one page of the Federalist Papers.
Of course,
not one page of it.
Of course, if the Senate won't give us the voting ID reform and cut my taxes, I might want to have a second look at that Senate production.
Larry's halfway to DSA.
It does mean less government.
But
cut 50 people off the government payroll.
I want to make a very serious point, though, that should not be lost. These extremists, socialism, communism, is always associated with the hate and bigotry of anti-Semitism and anti-Catholicism, and one group after another.
Yeah.
Okay, one group after another. For example, African Americans are not represented. Blacks are not in their coalition because blacks know full well that this kind of hatred for one group will spill over into another. And I don't want to lose that point, because it's the Democratic Party, which used to be the great defender of the state of Israel, has now deserted the state of Israel and is allowing big tents, quote unquote, big tents to develop with all these anti-Semitic socialist communists, whomever they are. And that is very, very bad. They should be ashamed of themselves. I've said this a million times. Chuck Schumer, whom I know personally many years, We have political differences that are large, but it's never personal. But I don't understand why Senator Schumer does not speak out. He's the leading Jewish office holder in the country.
Because he's more worried about his job.
Well, hell, that's just not the way you should work.
I agree.
This is an incredibly important moral issue. I mean, we've had bad times in this country periodically over hatred and bigotry, but we've overcome it. We've overcome it, and we don't want to launch or relaunch back into that sort of thing. So that's really part of the problem here. But Trump did very well in those speeches, very well.
The funny thing that they were saying is they want to elect a leader who's accountable, but do they realize that in socialism, leaders aren't accountable? Like, there's just no,
like
you can reason with these.
No, it's a head honcho or whatever.
A head honcho.
A head honcho or whatever.
But the other part is they hate America. Let's just
Of course they do.
don't like this country.
At a minimum, they don't appreciate it. I mean, as they're like espousing their ignorance and their hatred, I was actually just wondering, do they even appreciate the fact that they have this platform to be able to say whatever ignorant things they want to say?
Not at all.
You know, and we all have to sit here and defend their right to say it, even though we know that they're wrong.
They should go to China.
They should.
It's stuck in a Chinese prison.
They should go to
for it.
China. They should go to Venezuela.
And then they'll know what it's like.
You know, I mean, you don't even have to.
Go visit Jimmy Lai in the prison in
Absolutely.
China
Yeah,
all right, and ask him about freedom of speech.
The way I see it, it's, you know, the checks and balances are working perfectly fine. Is it perfect? We can look at the Senate and we can, I think a lot of us would say it's absolutely far from perfect, but we are not guaranteed perfection in this country. We're just guaranteed the opportunity to strive for a more perfect union. And whenever I hear these socialists or these Democrat socialists complaining about the Supreme Court, I just want to say this. Let's talk about the birthright citizenship case, the tariff case, the Lisa
same-sex marriage,
the mail-in ballots case. You weren't complaining then.
Yeah.
The checks and balances are working as they were designed to work. It doesn't mean we have to like it.
Right.
But
well,
they're working.
when they, don't get everything they want, then it's
Rick Scott has a
problem.
point. Rick Scott, Senator Scott. Why can't the Senate work 5 days a week?
There you go. You don't need to abolish it. Just work.
Work. I mean, maybe sometimes I don't want it to work. I personally work 6 days a week. I've worked 6 days a week a good part of my career, most of my career, because I do radio on Saturdays. But they don't work. I mean, they basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Right. That's all you got. We're paying them for that. For what?
All right, that's something to talk about. Coming up.